this is a conversation I've wanted to have with Blake since, well, for the last couple of weeks, because Blake is one of the most inventive people I know. He built Student Republic, who run basically major nights for Canterbury's two big universities, into a massive brand that now doesn't just do music and DJ nights. It does big festivals with the City Sound Project in the centre of Canterbury, and he's also recently been doing comedy events. And when this all kicked off, I said to Blake, what can I do to help? Because obviously at the moment you can't get people in venues and you can't host shows. So I want to talk to Blake about what they're doing virtually, but also about the effect the pandemic's had on them. Let's get him in. Blake, hello, mate.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's good to see your face. I mean, it's been a very, very weird time, hasn't it? And as a founder of an events company, I suppose the first question is going to be really open, but I want to get a sense of sort of what impact this pandemic has had on your business. So just tell us a little bit about what the last month, 6 weeks have been like for you.
Very, very weird. Yeah, I mean, we're running an events company and we can't do any events. I think the weirdest thing for us really is the kind of the not knowing. This is a kind of open-ended thing at a minute. So normally, if something came along that stopped us doing an event or a big festival, we would have a contingency plan. We'd have a kind of another date in mind. We'd have something else to kind of plan. We can't really do much planning, so we've just tried to be as kind of creative as we can, and look at it and go, right, we can't do real live shows. We're going to have to do virtual shows, and kind of rework our business model a bit. But the last month has been an interesting one. I hope we don't have many like it again. But we're trying to keep positive. We have the kind of thinking that from a crisis, it sounds a bit cheesy, but from a crisis, I think that there is always a kind of a surge of creativity. And, we only have to look at our news feeds or our social media feeds just to see how many people are kind of the change in how people are consuming this stuff, but also expressing themselves and putting it out there. Obviously, technology is now allowing us to have conversations like this, but also for artists and DJs and people like that, just to kind of put their own material out. Just a month of kind of re-looking at it, repointing and repositioning ourselves, and just kind of trying to re-establish our aims, really.
Yeah, because you had a lot planned for this year, didn't you? I mean, you had City Sound Project in the park. You had a number of nights already booked up and ready to go. You had just
a massive year,
mate. You had also just launched an event side of your business as well, which was going amazingly. Like, you was getting some amazing names into Canterbury, into intimate venues to perform amazing comedy gigs as well. So I suppose from that point of view, do you know roughly how many shows you've had to pull and postpone and reschedule?
It's pretty dismal reading. I mean, at the minute we're not looking at doing anything. We can't look at anything before September. But between now and September, if you add up all of our shows, we're probably looking at the kind of like the higher end of the 40s. So just 40 odd shows. Some of them small shows, but some of them, a big show, with 5,000 capacity. So, it's devastating reading, but times will change and we'll have a big year next year. I mean, to be honest with you, next summer's going to be nuts. I mean, if you think about all of the sporting events that are going to happen that haven't happened this year, the Olympics, wow, we're going to have a 2021 for sure.
I mean, fingers crossed. I mean, hopefully, I mean, obviously, like you say there, the glimmer of hope, the light is at the end of the tunnel. But obviously, when you look back and 40 I don't know, 40 events, that's absolutely crazy. And obviously, it's not just in one genre to one crowd. That's many different audiences there who obviously don't have an event to go to, and obviously you're not putting on that kind of event. There's artists, obviously, you had booked up and bits and pieces like that.
It's not just us. I mean, we feel really badly for the artists. I mean, you've got to think that these people have been practicing and honing their sets, honing their skills, ready for a really busy festival season. Gigs and events everywhere, and to have that ripped from them as well, as an artist, that must be quite devastating. And it's now across the board. It's every artist, every DJ, every performer of any type. Whether we're talking specifically about music, but there's we do work with some poets as well, and they've got nothing. Dancers, people like that. There's no arts and culture happening at all in real life. So we'll have to, I think we've got a shared responsibility, everybody that works in the sector, to kind of, pull together, collaborate as much as we can, think innovatively, and do what we can to change direction.
I know you work with a lot of different artists of all different stature, and sort of, as you say, they're in different genres, from poets to musicians to comedians. For you, what has that reaction been like from the artists and from the crowds?
So the artists, like I said, they really want to perform. They really want to perform. So we quite quickly developed a virtual sound project. So our main brand is City Sound Project. We do the music shows, as you said, and then we do a City Sound Project, CSP in the Park, and that's our big main free-to-enter community event. We launched Virtual Sound Project, which is essentially a live streaming festival. It's every day. We do a daily stream at 7 p.m. And artists can come on and basically put on a show to a virtual audience. And we've just tried to kind of create a platform where, okay, if we can't create a real live stage, we'll create a virtual one. And it's worked really well. We've got, we've since lockdown, we've put out 22 streams now. We've had the odd day off here and there. And
you're allowed to.
Yeah. It's all unpaid as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We've done 22 streams. We've got collective views of 97,000 across those streams, and we've been trying to raise money for the NHS while we're doing it, because we just think, obviously it's kind of pulled on everyone's heartstrings, really, what the frontline workers are doing. That's kind of what we've done. But yeah, to answer your question, in terms of the artists, they want to perform. They've got their own music. They want to perform. The DJs have got their own kind of set and their setup. They want to perform. Everybody can, but we're just trying to kind of house everyone together and kind of channel the audience so that stage is bigger. So it's not kind of just, yes, I'm a solo artist trying to put out to my audience. We're trying to create new audiences for that artist.
Of course. And I mean, and that should be the way it is. Artists should be embracing this now, because it's all really, at the moment, they've got to embrace. So to do something like this, like, I think they've been saying the same in like the box. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if you guys watch much boxing, but I was listening to, there's a fight just been announced in Poland. It's Whack against a guy called, I think it's Johnson. And they're charging literally £2.50 to watch the fight through YouTube on pay-per-view. And it's just like, it's generated so much interest of people saying, do you know what? £2.50, I'll watch that. But to these people, and to put on events like that and to be able to watch it, actually, if, say, for instance, 100,000 people pay £2.50 to watch that fight, it's a massive income that helps cover that gate. And and I think it's the same for like sort of artists and tour shows and bits and pieces like that. I don't think it's long until maybe people start looking at that and ways to be able to do that, so that artists can.
So it's interesting you bring up this point. I mean, we're developing at the minute an idea.
I'll put it up. I've just let the cat out of the bag on ideas that people trying to plan in the background.
So we're developing this idea where, I mean, obviously we've touched on it already. People can now from their phone, pretty much wherever they are, as long as they've got a 4G connection, they can essentially broadcast themselves to the world.
Like we are now.
Audience, like we are now. However, some people, I'm not going to name names or anything, but I know really, really, really talented artists that might not be as technically able to kind of put across a really professional looking stream. Some artists are really, really clued up and really geared up, and they've got really good equipment. They've got kind of audio lines in, and they can essentially use their phone as a mini studio. Well, we're developing an idea to push the virtual sound project on, where we can basically create a kind of a micro and mobile live streaming studio, just with a little bit of simple equipment, a little live stream camera, small mixing desk, where we can invite, once the lockdown loosens a little bit. Obviously we're not going to be talking about gatherings for a while, but once people can get a bit more free movement, we can invite people into our studio to create them a live stream or a video that they can just use and share wherever they want, and then help them to try and monetize that as well. Maybe there's a new revenue stream there for us as producers and promoters, and them as an artist, where we can actually create this kind of online virtual gig that is paid for, whether that's through sponsorship, whether that's through tips and donations. or whether it's pay-per-view. Yeah, so we're kind of just working through that idea now, but somehow we can collaborate with the artist to kind of create a kind of virtual gig or venue, I guess.
That's a good idea. And when that like sort of launches off the ground, let us know. It'd be good to have you to come back on and talk about that technically and what difference that can make to local artists as well. Especially, I mean, I have got 3 questions here about the Virtual Sound Project, and the reason why I've split them out is because I think it'd be quite interesting for a couple of minutes just to hit on that technical aspect of it and sort of what it does for you guys as a business too. And I think actually on this I'll bring Jack in as well after we've heard from you in terms of so when artists.
I can also think technically. I mean, George, my partner on it, is more the technical side of it, but I'll do my best.
It's more the side of these artists when they're live streaming. So when they're live streaming, the music feed sounds amazing. It's like you're listening to it on an audio track. You know, you can see them visually on a good looking camera. So these artists, when they do this, how are they doing it? I suppose is the question.
So it's a good question. So when we're saying we're streaming it, when we broadcast and in someone's newsfeed it says that City Sound Project or Virtual Sound Project are live, we're pushing a video out that's live. We've had a mixture. We've had some artists that have pre-recorded, sent us their video, and then we basically broadcast it live at 7 p.m. It's a cheat, but we're not promising live streams. It's just the way we're delivering the performance.
You're putting a program out at 7 o'clock every evening. That's
exactly. It's just a 7 p.m. program. But we have had a number of people do it live from their own home or from their own kitchen. It's rather nerve-wracking when we're not in full control of that, and we basically essentially send them a. We're running off OBS at the minute, which is the operating system that we push out through. We essentially send them a stream key. They then can log on as if we were, and then but it kind of hands the control over to them. So technically, we're in their lap, if you like. But that kind of we prefer it, and I think it's better for the artists as well. If they send us a pre-recorded video, then we can use our robust internet connection without interruption and push it out.
It means that you're fully in control of what's going on. I was just going to quickly bring you in a second, mate. Like for these artists who are live streaming from home and stuff, and people who are doing live stream, especially if you're into music, is there any sort of equipment you'd recommend to them, mate? Anything that you would say to them that is worth looking into?
Blimey. I mean, this is such a new area, I think, for a lot of people that I honestly don't know. I'd just be cobbling it together the best I could, with what I know, which is limited. So, I don't know.
What about cameras and bits and bobs like that? Any camera that you'd...
Okay, so Blake, you just mentioned OBS.
Yes.
I was able to attach my Canon camera via USB to my computer, and I was able to live stream via YouTube using OBS. However, there was a lag, and I struggled with it because obviously I'm hearing myself speak just slightly later, and it was putting me off.
So we've got a lag. We've got a live lag of about 30 seconons.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
So that's where it'd be difficult in a live situation to kind of broadcast like that.
Yeah.
I think also for those looking at cameras, if you are looking to invest in some equipment, definitely check that you can use it for live stream purposes before you buy it, if that's what your intentions are, because there are still some cameras out there that potentially are cheaper alternatives that will not work with live streaming. So
the mindful that we're talking, the minefield, sorry, we're talking through at the minute is kind of why. It's the reason behind why we want to put this virtual studio thing on, because then people don't need to kind of worry about the technical side. They can just worry about their performance. They can worry about their material, and not become a tech hand. They can stay musician.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the only other thing I want to hit on with the Virtual Sound Project quickly, Blake, is just around sort of the artists you've had on, the artists you've got coming up. So tell us a little bit about what people have to look forward to and what they can go back and watch.
So Virtual Sound Project, we've had people like James Hype on there. So we've had some pretty big, high-profile artists. But this was always our ethos with City Sound Project, was to create a big platform and mix headline acts, high-profile acts with our local, musicians and performers. So we've had the likes of James Hype. We're working on at the moment. We may stop the Virtual Sound Project after this week for a week. Have a break, because what we want to do is, whilst we would have been in the Dane John Gardens doing our CSP in the Park event, which is the big free family friendly event, we're gonna do a 2-day festival online. So we're going to basically program from 12 until 8 all day Saturday and Sunday. So we're just working on that. We're talking to all the people, all the headline artists and all the local artists that we had booked or provisionally booked for the Dane John Gardens, and hoping that they would all perform. So we're talking to people like Norman J, to DJ, we're talking to House Gospel Choir again, people like that. So it could be a really, really special weekend. And we're also talking to Radburger and the Canterbury Brewers as well, and see if we can do a kind of festival pack that can be delivered to your house, so we can bring a festival.
That's wicked.
Yeah,
that's wicked. What a great idea. And so I'm just going to go and quickly check, Blake, because I haven't had my invite from you yet to appear on the live stream.
It's coming.
It's coming. See, me and Jack would be well up for that. Me and Jack could come on. We could come and do the intro. We could do the live intro.
There we go. I think this is it.
We could open it and close it.
Yeah. Recording, I can hold you to this.
Yeah, no, honestly, hold us to it. We're in lockdown. We're not doing much else, honestly. So just let us know about it. Blake, quickly tell us about those links, mate. And obviously, when all this stuff starts to get into fruition, so to speak, we'll obviously hopefully get you back on.
Thanks. So City Sound Project, it's the City Sound Project Facebook page is where we're live streaming from. We've actually set up a virtual Sound Project page as well, but we stream across all of our pages, so CSPA in a park, etc. And this week we're pushing, and from now on we're pushing to raise money for the PPE production and manufacture locally that Ed Withers and the Canterbury community spot are pushing. So. Yeah,
brilliant. No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on, Blake. Keep up the great work, and it's great to hear how virtual you've gone as well. It's good to see that you're embracing it.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Thank you. Bye, bye.